Consider the function f of x equals negative 2x minus 16 over negative 2x minus 4. The function has y-intercept at a specific location that we need to find, x-intercepts, vertical and horizontal asymptotes. We need to find all of these pieces and then use those to make a graph in just a second. So the y-intercept occurs at the ratio of the constant terms. So the constant terms are these two values right here. And so if I take the ratio of those two terms, then I've got the coordinate pair 0 for my x, and negative 16 over negative 4 would be positive 4. The reason it's the ratio of the constant terms is because for any y-intercept, you let x equal 0. And if you let x equal 0 in this equation, both these terms cancel out, leaving you just the constants. And x-intercept at the point, well, to determine that point, what we do is we let the y value be 0, and we solve for the x. And it just so happens that in a rational function, this happens whenever the numerator is equal to 0. So if I take the numerator, negative 2x minus 16, set that equal to 0 and solve, that would give me negative 2x equals positive 16, or x equals negative 8. So that's the x-coordinate of the x-intercept. The equation of the vertical asymptote. Well, the equation of the vertical asymptote comes from the 0 of the denominator. So take that factor in the denominator, set it to 0, and solve. So negative 2x equals positive 4, or x equals negative 2 when I divide. And that is just a line, so I'll leave it as x equals negative 2. The equation of the horizontal asymptote. The equation of the horizontal asymptote, what I do is I take the ratio of the leading term coefficients because the degrees of the leading terms are equal. So in this case, it would be y equals negative 2 over negative 2, which is 1. All right, now unfortunately, as I go to actually draw this on the graph, all of my notes here are going to disappear, but I'm going to type those in so that we have the results. Okay, so to actually do the graphing now, what I'm going to do is just come down to my graph, and if you'll notice, there's a tool here for a rational function. And when you have it selected, and then you move over your graph, you'll see a pencil that kind of drags along your asymptotes, so dashed lines for those asymptotes. So you're going to match up where those would be first. So I have a horizontal asymptote at positive 1, so I've got that taken care of. Vertical asymptote at negative 2, so this is where those two lines would cross. So I find that point, click, and then that draws in the asymptotes. Now the next thing that I need to do is figure out another point that exists on the graph so that I can draw the rest of the rational function. And the good news is we have the intercepts to work with. So I know the y-intercept is at 0, 4. So 0, 4 would be right there. If I clicked that point, that would set my rational function properly. The x-intercept of negative 8, 0 is actually a bit off screen, so I can't use it just yet, but I have this point to use, so that's fine. So just click, and then if you go off the screen, then hit submit. You'll get the correct answer.